Thank you guys for joining on TikTok. Hello guys, hello family from across the globe. Welcome to a new edition of the Slow Parenting Podcast on Nostalgia Media. My name is Richie, and I've been welcoming guests and our friends on TikTok. So I'm welcoming friends and guests and followers on YouTube at this time. Okay, we are taking another step in performing our parenting chores or duties on Slow Parenting Podcast as we look at an issue that some of us don't pay attention to, don't think maybe are necessary, and that's the issue of when we do certain things and uh, tell our children not to do those things. It's confusing. In other words, some people might say, do as I say and not as I do. Not exactly. It's not really that. It's worse than that. It's more challenging than that. Well, bring about almost the same kind of emotions and reactions from your children. Is he from the moon? Is she from the moon? Are they aliens? Okay, imagine your dad or a father smoking and then saying to the child, his child, or any child for that matter, please don't smoke. It's not good for you. Or is drinking a shot of cognac, whatever, spirit, beer, sipping it, and is telling the child, please don't drink. It's not good for you. We've dealt with curiosity, we've dealt with rebellion, we've dealt with a number of other issues as reasons why your children might get tempted to try, use, or become used to or addicted to psychotropic substances. This particular questioning, this particular temptation is heavy because they say you do what you're asking them not to do. It brings more confusion, okay? It's either they understand it to mean I'm a superhuman, nothing happens to me, nothing would happen to me even when I'm doing what I'm asking you not to do, or the classical retort, you are not of age. So what you are doing is setting that child up or those children up to say, okay, they're waiting, they're going to clock and calendar, checking it until that magical, set of figures, 1 and 8, 18. Hmm? Uh, I'm old enough now. So you are saying don't drink, don't smoke till you are 18. Don't take any psychotropic substance. They might be seeing you take. Don't behave in ways you're asking them not to behave that you are behaving until they are 18. So when they are 18, you're saying automatically that they receive the license to do whatever they like. Is that true? Is that what you're saying, really? It shouldn't be. Okay? Effects of psychotropic substances on the body, on relationships, on careers, on professions, don't disappear because the people have become adults or people who take them are adults. And that's where the confusion of, are you an alien? Are you from Mars? You mean you can do all of this and nothing would happen to you, but if I do them, I will suddenly freeze and drop. That might be a reason for which they even want to try when you are not looking. Okay? So let's not let's not frame, you know, discussions with our children about substances, drugs, if you like, cigarettes, alcohol, and any other psychotropic substance. And no, you're just a child. You're just a child, meaning when do you mean when, don't worry, when you become an adult, you can drink, you can smoke, you can take whatever other things that they probably see you. We are plying this route now, maybe making it look like we are talking to just parents who themselves, you know, use certain substances and their children know, see them, and but I say, no, don't do this. It's not going to be good for you. Then how is it good for you? Okay? So don't worry. Are you confused? Don't be. Okay? Even if you are in the course of this, there's nothing to be confused about. It's just a case of you are the mirror they are looking at. They are copying you. They are watching you. You might think they are not. But you know they are. If you didn't know they are, you wouldn't say, okay, please don't drink this. Please don't smoke this. It's not good for you. But even if you are one of those parents who hide to, take those substances, or you don't hide, but they see you, you feel, what can they do? They are watching you. Over this, we keep saying it, they are watching you, they want to be you. It's you they want to be like, not the phantom that, you know, in your imagination that you think you're, paneling or championing them to become. Share your story. How did you start? What made you start? Don't glamorize it. Share the pains you've been going through. Be sincere about your struggles with trying to stop. Don't stop at, don't take this, it's not good for you. They're watching you. They will emulate you. That don't try this, is not good for you, might actually now be the tonic they need to go look for where you drop that cigarette butt. Let me even see how this thing is. Or that wine glass or spirit glass that you just used, and you say, okay, come take this thing away. Takes it away. It gets to the kitchen or the sink or wherever, and it's trying to let me see how this feels. Yes. Okay. It has it has taken over 30 years for me to make a discovery just yesterday. Just yesterday. I love to watch football. You know, when I was in environments where I could go watch live matches for team or of teams that I support or that I like, I go. In Nigeria, in the UK, wherever, yeah, I've done that. Yesterday, Nigeria, yes, the Nigerian national teams played a match yesterday. And this wasn't just yesterday. The last match they had through this international period, I see some postings on someone's uh, WhatsApp status. And I'm like, what's going on here? So yesterday, Nigeria played a game. And I saw another post, not just one posting, yeah, that's more like it. So I had to ask. I sent a message to the person. When and how did you become disinterested in football? And the response came from you. Wow. I never knew. That was, that is my daughter, who herself now is a parent of two lovely young girls, my granddaughters. It could have been any other thing. I have shared in the course of this program how the very first wristwatch she got as a gift as a teenager, she wore on her right wrist. And I asked then, I always ask questions. Ask questions. Don't overlook anything. Ask questions. Wait for responses. Give clarifications and then interrogate further. Then I asked the lady yesterday, why are you wearing your wristwatch on your because you wear it on your, it could have been something else. Have I always done everything the prim and proper, the right way? No. But they became my mirror, my sounding board, and my corrections, my reasons for wanting to do things differently, my reasons for starting this parenting programming at all in the very first place. About 30 years ago. Yes. Okay. And if you think that that's a joke, or wow, well, how does it mean about 30 years ago? In the course of this season, actually from season 6, okay, we've been taking episodes, we've been taking our talking points from 3 books I've written about, I've written on parenting. Okay. And I just want to call them up so that we all right. No. Okay. 3 books have well, 3 books actually that actually got this project started. That, well, I should rephrase that. 3 books that came out of this project from the very beginning. So I've been sharing from them, including what we are discussing here today, parents, aliens. So if you've been following us since season 6, the short videos we've been producing, my bosses that are producing the video, you would have read or heard in the videos. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you guys for joining on TikTok. You would have heard, as Dr. Richie Adewusi said in so book. Those are the books. Those are different. All of the episodes have been specific chapters in those books. 3 of them. And people have been asking, I heard about this book, and where is it? Where are those books? Well, they were never available online. So my production team have been working on having them available so that anybody who needs them could go online to get them. Guys, could you please put up the pictures of Talk Therapy, Shaw Foundation, and 7.5 Temptation parents' face? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting them up. So those books are going to be available online, Amazon, Books by, and other online stores in hard copy, ebook, and what's the other one? Audiobook. Yes, ebook, audiobooks. I think they're available in all of those formats from the 27th of this month of October. So more tools. Why did I write those books? 1998. Yes, that's when I first wrote them. They were all my speaking notes when we started this project. They were from my speaking notes when we started this project on parent-child communication in the era of the HIV and AIDS pandemic. When we came to the conclusion that it's best to train parents as the primary educators of their children when it came to public health issues, including AIDS and sexual and reproductive, other sexual and reproductive health issues. Okay, so if you take a good look at the pictures that have been put up for you, you will see that they are marked, all of them are marked second edition. Some of the stories I'm telling you here in those books, or I have told you in the course of this, from season 6 to this particular season. So we're not talking about, things we're imagining. We're talking about things we have experienced, we've lived through over these number of years. We've watched other parents, we've counseled scores of hundreds, if not, if we count parents who have attended workshops and seminars and, if you like, trainings, we'll probably be counting some thousands that have benefited from this program. But those books had never been available in any bookshop. They had always been available at those workshops, conferences, trainings as resource material for parents who attended or participated. But now we're making them available for the world, for everybody who cares, or who needs them, who think they make sense for them to have them. Okay, so we are imploring you, parents, be that mirror in everything. Make your mistakes, you are human, own them, but don't gloat over them. Don't glamorize them. Okay? Be sincere. That's the whole issue of parent aliens. Meaning, how can you do something this terrible and then you are making me feel like it's normal for you to do it, but I've committed a heinous crime for making maybe a mistake like that. I'm not saying you should encourage your children to make the mistakes you made, but no. While trying to get them not to behave in certain ways, be plain, be open, be sincere. We're talking substance use, dependency, the one you call abuse, and addiction. In other issue areas, in other relationship issue areas, be sincere. Don't lie to your children. It's best they know your pain than they find out by accident. That might damage the respect, for you or your relationship with them. Okay? Be sincere. There's a story. This is not about, it's substance use led to it. A young lady went for a friend's party. And of course, free alcohol, free drinks, Hi guys on TikTok, thank you for joining. Thank you, Chairman, for joining. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to type the screen of your device to like the stream, and don't forget to share to invite your friends over. Free drinks. She took the drinks and hadn't. This was by the time I was being told this story, this person was a mother having challenges with her daughter and needed help. She hadn't she wasn't as if she when she was a teenager that maybe she was used to drinking and all. But she went to a party, her friends were, they offered her. And because it was free and all, she drank and then got drunk. Long story short, she was raped. She got pregnant and had the daughter that she was having challenges with that led her to want help. And she hadn't told her daughter that story. If you want to know one more thing that taking psychotropic substances can do, what harm it can do, why are they called psychotropic? They alter how you behave, how you respond to things around you, to people around you. You lose your senses. You do things that you would probably not do if you are in your right senses. She was feeling embarrassed to share her story with her daughter. I'm like, you need to tell her. It's not enough for you to say, look, I've been cautioning you, don't go to those places you are going. One day what? She doesn't know what you're talking about. One day what? After a number of sessions, she built, encourage herself enough, because you can't encourage anyone, you can't push anybody. They say you could take a horse to the river, but you can't force a horse to drink. Okay, so after some sessions, she psyched herself up and went to share her story with her daughter. What alcohol? First, well, I cautioned her to. She was both angry and embarrassed, bordering on ashamed, really, and that made her to, not be favorably or cordially disposed to a relationship with her daughter. She said she felt angry about what happened, what led to her being delivered and all of that. I said, but it's not her fault. You're beating yourself up. You're punishing her for what she doesn't know nothing about. And then you are now being upset that she's behaving in certain ways that you think, I'm just afraid, so she doesn't have, so that what happened to me doesn't happen to her. How does she get to know what happened to you? By that time, the daughter was already smoking, not cigarette, not cigarette, hemp. And that was what really got her looking for help. She eventually did go to have those discussions with her daughter appealingly. It's okay. I'm not, I'm proud of you, are my daughter, but I have not behaved, I have not shown what I'm going to say here now. Inside of me, I I cherish you. But that's not been my outward reactions to you. But what you see is more like, I don't want what happened to me to happen to you. And she told her story. How did it end? It ended in a long embrace. Her narrative, I mean, this coming from her when we saw next, and tears from both of them. She didn't need any therapy or any therapist or any professionals to send her daughter to. That story was her story was powerful enough to make her daughter to stop smoking hemp. Professionally, I can't show you who they are today. They don't mind, but I won't. No. And if you've been following any programs I do, anything I do, whether books or videos, you will know that I give receipts. But this, they don't mind, both of them don't mind. If I'm going to have any sessions with them, it will probably be an interview that we all sit and maybe at one of the episodes of the slow parenting program. So I'll bring both of them and they can share their experiences. But before then, I wouldn't say, oh, this person, that person. No, I wouldn't do that. Professionally, no, it's not. If I'm interviewing them, they agree to be on the program, talk about this, to encourage other people. Yeah, I'll gladly. So it wasn't something I was thinking about before, but right now, I probably would get talking with them to say if we can bring that about. There are so many other stories, but this one turned out well. This one turned out well. The mother shared, this was what happened to me. I don't want it to happen to you. This is why it's been like I've been hostile, I've been strict, and the daughter didn't need any further explanation. Stop smoking and listen to her mother more. They became closer, became friends. The mother is a grandmother now, multiple grandmother from her daughter. Okay? So if you don't share your story and you keep going, I've been warning you, I've been warning you, I've been warning you, you're not warning, not saying anything. They're wondering, okay, look, if you have some who are as bold as some, will tell you, okay, you've made your own mistakes. Why don't you leave me? Let me. Oh. But if you're open, sincere, and truthful, they are most likely going to buy into the narrative and buy into the behavioral pattern that you are recommending, because they will know where you're coming from and where you've been, that you don't want them to be. Okay, so we have so many contributions from community members. I don't want to miss out discussing them on the program today. I had such an experience on another podcast, not the slow parenting podcast last week, so that we didn't take the contributions at all, and I ended the program by accident. Okay, we don't want an accident to happen. So we're going to look at the video we have produced today. We have produced for this particular episode. The same topic, parents, aliens. Okay, then you will see why you need and how you could, okay, be real to them. Why you need to be real and how you could get to be real to your children and young people around you. Okay, so don't go away, please. Well, if you are watching the video, you can't go away. So watch the video. On the other side, we would look at contributions from community members and round up the episode. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Dear parents, please watch until the end to learn why your children and young people around you may sometimes feel you are from another planet, and how that perception could weaken your influence on their choices. Many children and young people today struggle to connect with their parents because they see them as people who never made mistakes, never faced temptations, and never truly understood what it feels like to be young and pressured. When a parent seems too perfect, children feel judged rather than guided, and they look elsewhere for answers. This sense of distance creates a dangerous opening. Peers, media, and alien cultures may step in to shape your children and young people's thoughts about substances and risky behaviors if parents appear silent or unreachable. When children and young people are not able to relate with their parents, their curiosity and struggles grow in isolation without the benefit of parental wisdom. As Dr. Richie Adewusi explains in the Sure Foundation, if you do not level down to your children and young people around you, do not expect them to level up to you. Be a real mom or dad who also grew up and made mistakes for which you are, of course, now sorry. This is a call to every parent. Sincerity builds bridges while perfection builds walls. Here are 5 ways you can close the gap and regain your place as a trusted guide in your children and young people's lives. 1. Be authentic about your story. Do not hide behind a mask of perfection. Share parts of your journey, the mistakes you made, and the lessons you learned. When your children and young people around you realize you also struggled while growing up, they no longer see you as unreachable, but as someone who has walked their path. This honesty makes your warnings more believable and your counsel more respected. 2. Balance honesty with wisdom. Sharing your past does not mean glorifying it. If you once experimented with substances or made poor choices, frame it in the light of consequences and regret, not as something glamorous. This helps your children and young people around you understand that you are not encouraging them to repeat what you did, but instead showing them the pain it caused and the wisdom you gained. Such balanced storytelling makes your lessons stick. 3. Use examples beyond yourself. Even if you did not personally engage in substance use, you surely know people who did. Relating the stories of friends, relatives, or even people in the news gives children and young people concrete examples of how choices lead to consequences. Real-life stories make lessons vivid, giving your children a mental pictures that guide their decisions long after your words are spoken. 4. Create safe and open conversations. Children and young people will only share their struggles if they know they will not be shamed or silenced. Create an environment where questions are welcomed, where doubts are handled with patience, and where even uncomfortable topics could be discussed without fear. This openness builds trust. And when trust is strong, your children and young people around you would come to you first before turning to peers or the media for answers. 5. Connect lessons to their daily realities. It is not enough to talk in general terms. Address the pressures your children and young people face in the present, whether it is friends offering them cigarettes, social media glorifying alcohol, or trends that make risky behavior look attractive. Show them how your counsel applies to their current struggles, and equip them with words and strategies to say no. Practical guidance would give them the confidence to stand firm. Parents, remember this. Your children and young people around you do not need a perfect superhero, they need a relatable guide. When they see you as real, approachable, and sincere, they get to trust your counsel over the whispers of the world. Perfection builds walls, but humility builds bridges. Your honesty could be the very thing that saves your children and young people from walking into dangers you already knew too well. Please share this video with parents who need to learn the power of being real with their children and young people. Comment, like, follow and subscribe to the Slow Parenting Podcast for more insightful parenting videos. Not just hacks, but heart.
Thank you, guys. You've seen the video. Like we are saying to our friends on TikTok, you're doing certain things and you're saying to your children, don't do, they're your purchasing officer for your cigarettes or maybe even your hemp, and then your alcohol. And you're telling them you can't drink this or you shouldn't, please don't. Even if you said please, even if it's not you that had that experience of being drunk and then you got raped and you either know somebody, even if you do not know, like I kept saying, Thank God for the internet. And this time, in this wise now, in this guys now, okay? Yes. There are many videos you can search out for people's experiences, unpleasant experiences. It depends on what you are looking for. You will get, if you put in the right words to search for what you want, you get videos that you can say, well, see, okay, I just want you to watch this video. You sit, you watch it. What do you think? Your discussion start on that. Okay? This is why I'm saying, please, um, can you come home earlier? And can you please not smoke? Yes. Okay, so welcome back. We are going to look at some contributions from our community members at this time before we round up this episode of the podcast. What if I have still not gotten over my past mistakes and they cause trauma for me? Should I still share those details? The reason that they're still causing trauma for you, to you, is number one reason why you should share with your children. First, it might be therapeutic for you. Part of the reasons why you're being traumatized by it is still a secret. When you tell certain story, they are cathartic, relieving. You feel freer. And in the relationship between you and your children, it helps them to know where you're coming from. And then you can actually put your head on their shoulder sometimes when you feel those trauma, and they will understand why. And they might be able to, depending on their ages, might be able to give a word or two of encouragement for you. They become part of your healing balm, so to say. Okay? So please share. Please share. It's helpful to you. It's helpful to your children, okay? The second contribution here says, isn't there a risk that being too real might make my children feel it's okay to repeat those same mistakes? It depends on how you share. We've said don't glamorize, don't. Look, express the real pain that you've heard or you're having concerning the issues that you're sharing. Don't make them sound nice. No. You send me this nice, it's not be nice. Be real. And thinking to themselves, at least daddy also did it. That's the are you alien that we're talking about. I did it, I'm sharing with you. These are the things I have suffered, or the things that have cost me. And that's why I'm sharing them with you. And that's why I'm saying, please don't apply that trap. Please. Okay? Why should I tell my kids about my past when they already use every mistake I make against me? There are some things, like they say, it is what it is. Do your bit. At least it's out there in the open. Do your bit. You've said to them what you should say to them. You've done for them or with them what you need to do. Leave the rest to God, as they say. Don't hide anything. There are ways, there are very uncanny ways that children find out things that you're trying to hide from them. I know of a friend who was always like telling the friends, look, when they were in school, he was always the best student in school. Until one day he sent, well, they normally go clean his room and all of that. Well, they decided to get a little bit more meticulous about, let's clean daddy's room now. Cleaned up the wardrobe, bring everything out, and they stumbled on That is secondary school result. Complete with a comment both the principal and their grandfather had made on that result. Even the ones that were not involved in the room cleaning exercise were let in on the leaking of the secret eventually. They confronted their father eventually. I mean, well, people are grown up and they were just joking. I said, Daddy, by the way, that story about you coming first every time, is this still true? So what do you mean, is this still to do? Does it change? Did I go back to school? Daddy, eh, don't do that. Don't hide things. There's a Chinese proverb I love very much. It says, if you tell the truth, okay, you don't have to remember anything. So you don't have to be thinking about what lie did I tell yesterday so that it doesn't contradict the one I'll tell today will not contradict it. Okay, okay, yes, tell the truth. Tell them the truth. If you are the last in class, at least you are there now as their father, their mother. Let them know, well, because I was coming last and this is my result, I want your own to be better. Please, share what that has cost you and why you don't want their own to be like that. Okay, don't lie. As you know, in African homes, this is another contribution, please. As you know, okay, no, that sorry, I think I've jumped some. Okay, this one says, if being real means my children won't fear me, how do I still command respect? That's an assumption. From experience, from practice, I have seen that being real, you telling your children the truth about yourself, draw them closer to you. Make them feel your pain the more and say, oh, daddy, so this is why you've been behaving. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, I promise I will. Yeah. The assumption of most parents is that, look, if they know how, they're going to laugh at all we're reading here. That is not true. I don't know that from experience. Okay? From practice. I don't know that. Okay. In situations where some parents are actually aliens, what should the children do? Alien. What do you, I don't understand this. How would parents be aliens? Alien means they were born, grown up, they never grew up, they never made any mistake. There's nobody that hadn't made any one mistake or the other. Why? There's nobody. So there's no alien in parenting. So that's, in other words, a lie. Don't present yourself as one. Even if by any unlikely occurrence of events, you never did anything wrong, use stories of other people. Like we say, go look for videos online. Because your children are not going to, you are not going to be the only one your children will relate with in their entire life. They're going out there in the world. So use videos from real life stories, real experiences of other people, and say, this is the kind of thing that could happen to people when they, insist on this kind of behavior. Cigarettes, alcohol, other hard drugs or psychotropic substances. See, is this who you want to be? No. Yes, you might not be taking. Okay? Use other people's stories. You had that in the video. Yeah. Go and look for other people's stories. Okay? As you know, in African homes, parents don't explain, they instruct. Why should I change what has worked for them? Who said it has worked? If it has worked, then my books are useless. Yeah. If they have worked, we grew up, we grew up in the, yeah, with talking experientially. I have written experientially. I started like that. If you read any of the books, you'll find those stories in there. I started like that. On the same person I saw posting football comments about the Nigeria match in the course of the past 2 weeks, the two matches that Nigerian national team played. The same person who I confronted in one of the books, the stories in those books are real about my relationship with my own children and some other children and some other families I had counseled and all of that. And I noticed that they were free with other members of the family, either visiting or even housekeepers or even some of my staff. But as soon as I arrived home, the whole place became graveyard. Everybody ran to their rooms. Nobody wanted to relate with me. And it bothered me. And it should bother you. So I called her and I asked, and what I got in response was a bomb. I think that story is in the Talk Therapy, one of those 3 books. This person now, yeah, he's a mother herself. So, Daddy, why should we play with you when you're always angry? Wow. Is that all, Billy? And you're always shouting. Wow. I had to work on myself. Like I said in the book, once in a while, the volcano would still erupt, but would not be with the frequency with which it used to erupt before, because I know that it's impacting on some people are watching. And the same person, some years later, she exhibited the same traits with her siblings. And I shared that in another book. One of the books, too, I think it's 7.5 Temptation. I shared it there. Okay, so they're watching on African homes. If you work, who said it worked? It didn't work. It didn't work. People just couldn't wait to leave home and go and start. And when they start, unfortunately, they would now do the same thing to their own children. And then we kept, and you say it's working. It's not working. It's just putting off the evil day. Okay, and children are waiting for when they are 18 and leave home. And then the next thing you hear, I'm old and I'm no longer a baby, I'm an adult now. Oh, okay. What? Especially they become professionals, are successful in what they are doing. You can't touch them again. They say, okay, mom, that's that time. I'm an adult now. You can't see me. Yeah, it's an issue. Okay. Change your style. Be open, be sincere. Let your children know you. Okay. Knowing how talkative young children are, how do I open up when I know my children might tell other people what I said? Your children are talkative because you want them to be talkative. It's the same thing we are saying. Boundaries. Agree on boundaries in your family. Agree on what could be discussed or not discussed with strangers. Agree on what must not leave your home. They will grow up with those. Even into their working life, into their own relationships, it will become parts of them. So we have not spoken about or written about boundaries or spoken about boundaries for fun. No. Of course, boundaries will have consequences when they are crossed. Enforce the consequences when those things are, when they happen. This does not leave this room. It does not even get into the sitting room. It remains here within us, amongst us. Not take it to understand. I agree. If you like, find an easy to remember phrase for that. Fem, fem. When you say fem, fem, they understand that you're saying it's not for discussion elsewhere. Look for such phrases, look for such, you know, if you like, slangs in your communication so that things are understood easier. Families, this is for us, not for any outsiders. Especially for parents who these days it has become, well, not fashion, necessity in most cases for parents to migrate with their children. The way things happen not in well, in Africa, in Nigerian society, let me speak about Nigeria specifically. In parenting, it is not the same way it happens. A lot of parents have gone to trouble, especially when they did not develop that agreement, discipline, within their families, between them and their children, to say, this is us, this is happening because we agreed on this and you are not. When they get to places, this is Canada here, the US, UK, and the children sometimes pick up the phone and call social welfare themselves, and there's trouble. Not knowing that they are putting themselves in trouble, not even just their parents, because if they come take you away from your parents and send you to foster homes, that marks the beginning of your problem in life generally. Stories about, again, go check online for effects of foster parenting. Just check, and you see how many play. There are nice stories. Not all foster parents are, well, bad, for want of a better word, but you are better off with your parents because they understand your culture, your tradition, your family values, your etiquettes. Even when you had migrated to a different, geographical location, country, remain who you are. Today, a lot of young people are lost because parents failed to, you are king. There's no need. It's what you say that goes. You leave, you arrive in another place now, you are no longer king. But then you didn't think you should carry your children along and they also have seen new, because their teachers are telling them, what happened to your face? Did your parents beat you? My mommy beat me very well. Oh, okay. You end up somewhere else. They might not beat you physically, but you might not arrive at adulthood normal. Okay. Would you say parents practicing what they preach is the most pivotal strategy to keep children from substance use and abuse? It might not be the most pivotal. That you don't smoke or drink don't mean your children won't be interested. But then you're preparing them with information and skills with which to resist, abstain. Yeah. Okay. You don't drink, you don't smoke. It's not a guarantee that your children won't, or they won't be tempted to. There are so many other factors. We've shared a whole lot of them in the course of this season. Okay, so you do your part. Okay, do your part. Don't stop talking. Leave the communication channels open. Be sincere, be truthful, be real, be a human being. Stop playing superhero. Okay, even if you're one, let them see that you are real too. You also made mistakes. Even if you didn't make, which is not possible, manufacture one. Like we said, by looking for a video, a narrative, or a book about somebody that happened with someone else that, paints a picture you're trying to get them to understand. Okay? And yes, that seems to be the last contribution here. this is the last episode on substance use and abuse. Well, the use and addiction to psychotropic substances. But the books are there. Okay, the short foundation is the particular book where we have dealt with all of these issues. The videos were produced on this, 7 of them in all, including today, are there. Okay. We're going to, from next episode, go into, if you like, specific daddy-daughter gists, if you like, advice, yeah, for growing up. We're going to take the next episodes to close up the season from a letter I wrote to this same football-loving person now, my daughter, as she graduated from college. I want to share. It's a book, and in the book itself, I told her then that book was written in 2007. I explained to her that I decided to make it a book so that her generation can benefit, could benefit from what I'm sharing with her as an individual. So by extension, I was addressing her generation and generations after her. That book has a heavy Christian undertone. It's called Christ Esteem. But it's a letter from a father to her daughter. So I'm going to be sharing, that letter, that book with you, starting from the next episode. Okay? Christ Esteem. You've heard about self-esteem. Yeah, sure you have heard about self-esteem. Something is bigger, more, firmer, stronger, mightier, much more dependable than self. Because the subtitle of that book is Christ Esteem. The subtitle is Self is Not Enough. So no matter how much of an esteem you have as an individual, you would always meet other individuals whose self-esteems are higher than yours. So what do? That's how they're able to make you feel inadequate, feel jealous, feel little, compete, cheat. But if your strength is based or built on something bigger than anybody and everybody else, nobody will make you feel inferior in any way. And that's why I wrote that letter to my daughter then. And I can tell you she has lived it. Yes, I can tell you she has lived it. And that's why I want to share with you and your children. Okay? So thank you all so very much for being here today, for joining us on this episode of the Slow Parenting Podcast. And thank you guys on TikTok for being there on the Parenting for All season live stream. And it's still the same time next week, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada. The time hasn't changed. It will change soon. So it become 1 p.m., but it's not yet time for it to become 1 p.m. This part of the world, the time changes, so I'm still trying to look for why. Okay, but in West Africa, in Nigeria, it's still the same time. It doesn't change. It's 7 p.m. West African time, including Nigeria. My name is Richie Adewusi. I look forward to being with you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.